In this video, I'm talking about how to optimize your personal resources. So first, what are the personal resources? You have mental resources, your knowledge, your beliefs, your values, the morals, your capability to focus and remember. Okay, so you have a lot of cognitive assets. You have emotional resources, the skill to feel motivated, interested in things, enthusiastic, and it can help you to take actions. You have your body as a resource, your health, your immune system, and then you can use this to achieve whatever you want. So these are the personal resources, and you also have outside of your body, outside of your mind, resources like friends, that all the people that you know, money, your home, cars, computers. So these are the external resources. So every moment you exchange resources, you use certain type of resources, whatever you do, and you create other resources. So if you want to be successful in your life, then optimize this activity. So totally you should always increase the value of your resources. For example, you can waste your resources. Let's say you drink alcohol, you smoke cigarettes, you eat junk food, so you use money and you ruin your health, so you reduce your resources, and what you get pleasure for a very short time. Okay, so this is the thing that you should not do this. And let's say if you learn useful things, okay, there are resources, your time, money, maybe you become tired, but it can be valuable in the future, so you exchange something for maybe, hopefully, higher value. Of course, the value depends on moment by moment, but let's say maybe you can utilize this. So every moment you talk to people, you play football, you eat, you work, you study, you talk to your friends, whatever you do, it's always think about this, that this is an exchange. And the leakage comes from focusing to creating pleasure for this moment. That is the big waster. For example, if somebody likes gambling, go to the casino and wasting a lot of money to get pleasure for this moment, but when you look at what is the value of this activity from the future, you will realize that okay, the money is gone, so the resource is reduced, and also the pleasure that it was great for 1 or 2 hours, it also gone. So actually from that activity nothing came out, it reduced the person's total resources. So whenever you do something, always think about this, that does this activity increases the value of my total resources or not? And you know what are these. When you eat healthy food, when you prepare for your future, when you work, when you build relationship with people, when you enjoy life in a healthy way, then you increase your resources. So this is an optimization for your resources, and you accumulate the resources, it is an asset, and you can have a better life. But be aware of this, that there is a valuation, and maybe you value something at this moment and you think that this is your asset, but maybe nothing really changed, just your thinking, and what you think is an asset, maybe 1 year later you will look at this as a liability. I'm not talking about accounting assets and liability, I'm talking about that, do you think it's good that it has in your life or not? As an example from my life, I had lens, and at the time I was very happy, I bought lens very cheap, but then my life lifestyle changed, I moved to another place, and then my thinking about those lands in that country became a liability. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to ask other people to deal with this. And in my mind, it became liability. So be aware that when you do things that you think that you add value to your total assets, to your resources, try not to use your present thinking, but project yourself into the future, and from that perspective, look at this. So of course, what I mentioned, that the instant gratification, the pleasant moment pleasure, it's very clearly reducing your total asset, but it can be also that you think that it is building your assets, the value of your asset, but maybe later it will not be, because what you think that is great. It can be a lot of times that, for example, that if you accumulate a lot of clothes at home and then you don't really have any space, so you collect a lot of objects, and then later you realize that actually I want space. Of course you can throw them away, but you will realize that those things doesn't really have any value. You cannot really sell them. You just occupy the place. The dust comes. It makes the whole room very smelly and unhealthy. There are molds on the clothes and the books, and all the things suddenly in your mind becomes a liability. And of course you can throw away, but nothing's really changed. Your thinking changed. So to be successful, always do activities that increases your total value of your assets, and be sure that in the future you always also will think about those things as an asset, not as a liability.